Hey everybody, I hope the lighting's okay. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try. I'll try to stay here and not go over here because then it gets dark. So I'll try to stay here. So I figured that I would show you today and just talk about what it's like to go to school here in Sweden as an immigrant. Um, I started school in, I think, September of last year. September. Yeah, I think school started in August, but I started almost a month later. Um, Less than a month later, I don't know, something like that. They had openings, so I applied. It was kind of like a spur of the moment type of thing. I knew that I had wanted to do it, and it was kind of just like, let's just do it now instead of waiting. And so I applied, and I had an interview, and I got in. They basically asked me why I was going for this type of job or this type of building and whatnot. It's a vårdbiträde, which is like a CNA in America, a care assistant. It's I want to go on to an Hörkerska after that, which is a nurse's assistant, which is like an LPN in English and American. So that's what I want to do after that. I'm not sure if I want to go to Hörkerska, which is like an RN. I think I'm just going to stop at LPN, which is Undersköterska, when I'm done. The course that I'm taking now is 800 points. Undersköterska is 1500, so I'll have to take some more classes afterward to continue my education, which is fine. So yeah, so far it's pretty calm. Of course, everything's in Swedish, so you have to know enough Swedish to be able to read, write, and understand and talk. And yeah, so far it's really good. I was really nervous when I started because I wasn't sure if I was going to be good enough or if I was going to understand, if I was ready to go to school in another country, only being in Sweden for 3 years, or less than 3 years. But I figured I'd try it. If anything, they'd say no, or it isn't for you, or maybe you're not ready yet. But so far it's okay. I'm doing pretty good. Doing fairly well. I'm keeping up, which is great. I'm not the only immigrant in the class. There are Swedish people and other immigrants in the class. So it's not bad. The only downfall is I was having to travel 2 hours a day to get there and 2 hours back by train. Since I've moved a little closer, and now it's only like an hour and a half opposed to 2 hours, so I cut a little bit off the time, which is nice. Every minute counts. So yeah, I'll just jump in and I'll show you some of the books and stuff that I've gotten since I started, and the classes that I've been working on, the classes that I'm done with, and what we're doing in kind of class right now. So we'll start off with this book, and I'm going to butcher, okay. I'm not good at pronouncing the words 100% correctly, but I will do my best for you to understand, and I'll translate it in English too. This is Erik och människor livsvillkor. So this is, to explain in English, it's a book about people's lifestyles and how people live and their culture and how their culture affects their health. And it's also about funktionsnedsättningar with handicap or diseases and things like that. It's used in the health programs. I'm reading in Swedish and trying to translate it too, so that's why I'm thinking a lot. Yeah, I believe we're still working on this book. There's so many classes I get confused sometimes. It's And this is a Yrkes Hogescholen program. It's like a utbildning would be like training, like uh, like a technical training, trade school. There it is. I had to think about it. Trade school when you would be in English. If you were going to go for nursing, which is like Hochschule, that would be university. But because it's just the lower levels, it's just a trade school. Even for Unterhochschule, that's actually something they learn primarily in high school. You can have the trade after that too. So that's what I'm going to do after. And yeah, basically, this is just ethics and how people live and yeah, different cultures and how it affects them and whatnot. The next book, which is the main book, is Vord and Omsvord, are about healthcare and working in the healthcare system. It talks about blood pressure and medicine and nervous system and disease and sores and all of that stuff that you would need if you're going to work in the healthcare system. Yeah, I'm just reading the back to see if I answered the question. It talks about empathy and integrity and what you're supposed to have. It talks about how to communicate and how to work and how to help people with disabilities and health problems and whatnot. And typically as a vårdbiträde, you're going to work as like in an elderly boende or LSS. You'd work in a retirement home or with people with like autism, or LSS would be like autism or multiple sclerosis, people with that need help, cerebral palsy, things like that need help. And there's something called a hemtjänst too, which is where you would go to people's houses and help them with their everyday lives, and you'd have like I think it's like a schedule of which people you're going to visit in that day. If you work in an elderly boende, which would be a retirement home, then you're just going to that retirement home and helping there. If you're doing LSS, I believe they have their own home, or you can do it via hemtjänst. And there's also Person Assistant, which is a personal assistant, which is something I think kind of like hemtjänst, except for you're taking them places, like taking them to work and maybe taking them on trips or taking them places, and you're driving for them and you're maybe running errands for them and you're their personal assistant and taking care of them, of course. Here we have Samhällskunskap, which is like society knowledge, and it's not to do with healthcare really, it's just to do with history and society in Sweden. And it pretty much just describes that, like we talk about fascism and I'm just flipping through here, communities and pensioner, which is retired person, elderly omsorg, which is elder care. We talk about like the environmental effects and media and social media is here, internet. I'm just kind of flipping through, like I said. Econom, which is economics, private economy, loans and savings and things like that. And that is Samhällskunskap. This one I'm done with. I still have the class and the teacher, but we're done with the book. I'm 99% sure. Next is hälsopedagogik. Pedagogik is teacher in Swedish. Hälso is hälso, so health teacher. This talks about, let's see what it says on the back. Hälsopedagogik. It's just, it's general knowledge about health teaching and different concepts and theories and what you would need for yourself and for other people's health. The lifestyles and how it affects the health, and how it affects the individual and groups, and talks about environment, history, the international perspective, culture. So we've got things in here like, and I still have this, I'm still working on this one. Let's see what we got in here. Alcohol, tobacco, and drugs, physical risk factors, World Health Organization, international working, funktionssättning, intellektual funktionssättning, neuropsychiatric funktionssättning would be like dyslexia, ADHD, ADHD, psychiatric disorders. Stress, so just talked about everything about health and how it affects your life and whatnot. And that is pedagogic. Then we have special pedagogic. Special pedagogic is, again, pedagogic teacher. Special would be like, I want to say like people with handicaps and things like that. It's general knowledge and those types of hookdoms and things. And it's, let's just jump in. Support systems and how to help people, how to communicate with people, different hookdoms, which is diseases, heart problem, heart damage. Just talks about different things like motoristic symptom. I'm trying to translate. When you think in Swedish all day and then trying to think about English, it kind of gets screwed up in my head. Depression, hearing, seeing. This one's about hallucinations, feeling hallucinations, taste, smell. This was physical and psychiatric disorders. ADHD, of course, we talk about that a lot. Autism, we talk about that a lot. Down syndrome. Just we learn a lot about these types of, things and these types of disorders and how we can help these people who have to live with these diseases and disorders every day, and what we can do for them to make their lives easier. It talks about the brain function, memory, theories, cognitive behavior, social knowledge. So that is special pedagogic. And now these are my new books. Psychiatry. We'll do that one first. This is the knowledge, common knowledge in psychiatric health, society, and how it can affect you, and basically it's all that stuff to do with psychiatric things like depression and how it affects the health of children and teenagers. How family therapy, environmental, developmental, psychiatric, cognitive, DBT, dialectic therapy. Different the handling, which is different treatments. Empathy, which is like so big if you're going to work with anybody who has any kind of disorder or disease, you have to have empathy. That's the number one thing, and knowledge, of course, but empathy is huge. Let's see, psychiatric health and the risk factors surrounding that. Adults, like I said, children, perspectives, and history in the beginning. So, yeah, that's this one. I've dived into this a little bit. Like I said, this is one of my new classes. And this one is Psychology 1. This is psychology. What more can you say? I've taken this class before in the United States a couple times because I find it interesting. So it basically talks about the brain, the central nervous system, evolution, biology, everything to do about psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, problem solving, and intelligence, and optimism, pessimism, abstract, concrete thinking, memory, long-term memory, short-term memory, concentration, cognitive psychology, the social perspective on it, psychology every day, Kasam, which is what we were talking about this past week. Of course, there's the people in psychology like Freud and Carl Rogers and those guys, and positive and negative thinking and behavioral therapy, and different people like John Watson, and just different things like that. So this is the, sorry if I was in the dark there, that is the psychology book. So yeah, these are all the books all the classes that I'm taking now, and for the most part, and I'm also taking Swedish too. So it's a lot. It looks like very intense, but we kind of just touch on every single subject a little bit here and there, and we do projects and things, so it's not as intense as it kind of looks, at least for me. I've been to college before in the United States, so for me it was kind of, I've done this like this before, so I was okay, but I feel that if you've come straight out of high school, or if it's been a long time since you were in school and you've gone back, it can maybe be a little intense. And of course, if you don't understand the language, I mean, I can't tell you I understand Swedish 100%. If I did, I'd tell you I'd be lying. But you learn as you go, and that's okay, because that's how you learn anything. You learn as you go. Reading, writing, speaking. I mean, it's all important. It all ties together. So, yeah. So that I figured I'd just talk a little bit about. Right now in class, I have different projects. I'm working on a project that, if I were going to work with a person, you could pick from like somebody who had Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis, or somebody who's had a stroke or cerebral palsy or different disorders. What would you do to obtain knowledge in that disorder so that you could better help the patient? And what questions would you have for your boss before you started the position in working for that patient? So I chose stroke because I have experience in that, so I'm going to write about that. My other projects are Global Målen, which is like global goals. We're talking about, me and my partner are talking about rabies, and doing a project on that, like a discussion. And then I have another one due tomorrow on disinfection, sterilization, chemical disinfection, and heat disinfection. So I have to talk about that tomorrow too in class. Kind of like give an explanation of all of those different types of disinfecting and sterilizing. And that's pretty much all I have that I can think of going on at the moment. Yeah, so that's all the things that I have going on this week that I have to do. The Global Mullen is like, it's a really big report, so that's like a few months worth of updating information, because we have to connect it to other people's projects as well, so they all kind of blend together. So, but the other ones are all due this week, which is fine because I'm done with them. Whenever I receive homework, I do it right away, because if I don't do it right away, then I could forget about it, or I procrastinate. So as soon as I get my homework assignment, or I do it right there, because I don't want to forget it. I want it to be done. I don't want it like lingering over the back of my head, saying, "Oh, you forgot to do your homework," and I would just drive me crazy. So it's just easier for me to do it and get it done with, and know that I don't have to think about it until the day, and then I'm good. So I'm done with all of those, all my homeworks and everything like that. I'm reading in my spare time my 2 new books, just so that I kind of have a leg up, and I can maybe answer questions in class, which I'm pretty active in class. When I first started the class, I was afraid to speak Swedish because I felt like, oh my God, I sound stupid, I'm an immigrant, oh my God, they're not going to understand me. But once I got comfortable, now I talk all the damn time. So I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm not worried about sounding stupid. I'm not worried about making a mistake, because that's how you learn. You make a mistake and you learn from it. So if I say the wrong word, or I don't know a word and I say it in English and they correct me, I very much appreciate it, because then I've learned that word. I feel better. If they don't correct me, then I wish they would, because I want to be corrected. I want to say the right words, and I want to sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. And I want you to understand what I'm talking about. So the teachers very much like it if you are active in class. Even if you're afraid to speak the language, if you try and you just do it and you just talk, they're going to appreciate it way more than you just sitting there like this and being afraid. Especially since like the job we're going for is a big part of it is speaking, and they want to make sure that you have the compassion and the empathy, and you're able to have the knowledge to talk to other people, and you're not afraid to have conversations with other people, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be asking questions. We're going to be taking care of people, so we have to be able to talk to them. We have to be able to understand them. We have to be able to help them, because that's our job. That will be our job. Some people in my class already have a job, kind of like in the field that we're going in, where they just pick up a few hours and they're kind of learning and experiencing what they're going to be doing after they get out of school. We're going to have to do a critique program, which we were going to do in February, but now with COVID, we have to wait till fall, which is fine. I'm going to look for a summer job in the field that I'm going in, so that I can have more experience and understanding, and just something to put on my resume when I'm done with school. And money, of course. It's always a big one. But yeah, I hope I answered all your questions. If I didn't, leave them down below, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great week and a great rest of your month. It's my birthday month, so I'm excited. No, age is just a number to me, so I don't really care about that. I'll be 38. Can you believe it? 38. My son's birthday is the day after mine. He'll be 2. So it's exciting. I'm really excited for his birthday. No, I don't care about mine. I'm gonna have banana split. That's all I want. But for him, I'm excited. It's exciting when you have kids. You can kind of be a kid yourself. So that's always fun. But have a wonderful rest of your week. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Or if you just want to chat down below. I'll be there. Have a great day, you guys, and hello, alipa.